Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. Crazy Maniac Gaming here. This video is 10 WWE Wrestling Dream Matches that most likely will never happen. And it's actually pretty sad it won't, because these are all matches. The people that fight each other in these matches, they either have the same chemistry or kind of the same chemistry. They would have really good chemistry together, or like they would have their personas would be exactly opposite from each other. If you guys know what I mean, like, yeah. But basically, the rules for this is the people that are in these matches had to be employed with WWE for like years. So here we go. Let's just jump right into it. Oh, now here it is: Mr. Perfect versus AJ Styles. This isn't in any order, by the way. All these matches would be great, but Mr. Perfect versus AJ Styles. Personally, I think Mr. Perfect is one of the best wrestlers of all time when it comes to technical wrestling, and AJ Styles is probably the best wrestler today that isn't like Kenny Omega. Maybe Kenny Omega might defeat him in that category, but personally I think AJ Styles is great. Mr. Perfect, one of my favorite technical wrestlers of all time. I would love to see this match, but it won't happen because obviously Mr. Perfect's dead. Sadly, he died very young from drugs. So, if you guys don't know who Edge and Christian is, why are you watching this video? The Usos, one of the best tag teams in the WWE today, and I think they would have great chemistry with Edge and Christian. And I really wish Edge and Christian were still not retired, but Edge had to retire because of his neck injuries. Sadly, he was a great wrestler. I think if he were to wrestle still, like if he didn't have neck injuries, then he would still be one of the best wrestlers today. But Edge and Christian versus the Usos, I think that would be a great match. Whenever the name Chris Benoit comes up, it's controversial. Daniel Bryan versus Chris Benoit. Daniel Bryan, one of the best wrestlers in the WWE today. Chris Benoit, personally, I love Chris Benoit. I don't love what he did, but I love what he did for the business. Chris Benoit has the same, or Daniel Bryan took the finisher that Chris Benoit had, the crossface that he calls the label lock. These two men are so similar. They're so similar that I think they would just have great chemistry together. They're both amazing, and together they would be even more amazing. Randy Savage versus CM Punk. The reason this will never happen, two of them actually. CM Punk has left the WWE. Randy Savage is deceased. But CM Punk, I think he did take inspiration from Randy Savage. Randy Savage, I'm gonna keep saying it. He's one of the best technical wrestlers. So is CM Punk. CM Punk had a submission. Can't remember exactly what it's called, but I think it would be pretty cool if he could like lock it in on Randy Savage, like off of Randy Savage's elbow. If he like missed and then CM Punk put him in it. It would be amazing, but it can never happen, so sad face. Brian Pillman versus Dean Ambrose. Brian Pillman, when he was flying Brian Pillman, he was great. When he was Brian Pillman, just a lunatic, his technical wrestling abilities wasn't as great as flying Brian Pillman, but he had a mindset. for the business that WCW, ECW, and WWE, they all wanted him. Sadly, he died, I think, in the 1990s, late 1990s. And the reason he would be such a good pair with Dean Ambrose is because they're both lunatics. Brian Pillman, he had the mind, and he was the man that did, like, create the system that if you had a good mind for the business, if you had a good mind to, like, if you were actually smart and you could create a persona like he did with his mind and stuff, then wow, he created that. He's the inventor of that. Dean Ambrose, I think personally he used that mindset that Brian Pillman used to use. Dean Ambrose as John Moxley on the Independents would have a great match with Brian Pillman. They're both lunatics. If you haven't seen one of John Moxley's promos, then you need to check it out. John Moxley was, you know how Dean Ambrose is called the lunatic fringe? John Moxley was even more of a lunatic. John Moxley versus Brian Pillman, great match. I would love to see it, but we can't see it, sadly. Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Undertaker. Now, this might seem a little weird, but Shinsuke Nakamura, one of the best strikers of the business today in the world. He is the king of strong style, as he calls himself. What he was called in New Japan Pro Wrestling and what he brought over to WWE. He's one of the best strikers, and The Undertaker is a great striker. I'm gonna keep saying one of the best because all these men that would be in the dream matches is one of the best. But The Undertaker versus Shinsuke Nakamura would be a great match with Nakamura's Kinshasa, Undertaker's Tombstone Piledriver. I don't know. I would love it so much. Andre the Giant versus The Big Show. Big Show, when he first got into WCW, he was said to be Andre the Giant's son because of the similarity he had to Andre the Giant's stature. Big Show was called the Giant because they said that he was the son of Andre the Giant. He actually isn't, if you couldn't tell. But these two men, the greatest big men of all time, in my opinion. Andre the Giant, number one. Big Show, number two. These two men would have a great match together. Big Show, Andre the Giant. That's actually the thumbnail for this video. So, and then I have 10, and there's only allowed to be 7 matches. So I need to actually do this real quick. Hold on. Just wait a second. Be patient. Alright, you guys might know who yeah. So, 2 big men that were the main event, basically. They were always the main event of every show they went to. Hulk Hogan, I don't know how many championships he's held. I think it was 5. John Cena's held 16 world championships. John Cena was one of the greatest United States champions of all time. So, John Cena versus Hulk Hogan, it's been talked about. It was for their generation, the main men of their generation. It was Bruno Sammartino, then Hulk Hogan, then Stone Cold Steve Austin, then John Cena, and now Roman Reigns. But we can eliminate Roman Reigns. But Hulk Hogan, John Cena, 2 stars of their generations. I think, personally, showboating wise, they would have a great match. Now, alright. This would be a great match. I don't think they've ever fought before. But CM Punk versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles brings so much charisma to the table, and CM Punk brings everything to the table. These two men are two of the greatest wrestlers of all time, as I've already said with their other dream matches. They would have great chemistry together. I don't think you guys actually understand how great of chemistry they would have together. It would just be amazing, okay? So, this next match. Alright. I'm gonna say two of the greatest men of all time when it comes to wrestling because they are. Okay. Personally, I think Seth Rollins is the Shawn Michaels of today. Shawn Michaels versus Seth Rollins, they would have a great match. Just like all of these other matches, they would have a great match. It would be amazing. Seth Rollins is the Shawn Michaels of his era. Shawn Michaels is the Seth Rollins of his era, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird. But, I would love to see this match. Comment down below any other dream matches that could never happen that you would think would be able to make a list. Personally, my favorite on this list out of Hulk Hogan versus John Cena, Andre the Giant versus Big Show, AJ Styles versus CM Punk, AJ Styles versus Mr. Perfect, Randy Savage versus CM Punk, Daniel Bryan versus Chris Benoit, Brian Pillman versus Dean Ambrose, Edge and Christian versus the Usos, Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels versus Seth Rollins. Those are all the matches that I've listed off on this video. The greatest, or like number one for this particular list, I think would have to go to Randy Savage versus CM Punk. CM Punk is Randy Savage of his era. So I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did like the video, it would really help the channel out. And if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. That would also help the channel out. Peace.